Have you ever opened your eyes, and in the very first seconds, your hand reached for the phone, almost without thinking, one tap, and suddenly emails, news, drama, notifications come crashing in like a flood. And just like that, before you even take a deep breath, your entire mind has already been programmed by the outside world. Do you realize, in that fragile moment, you just handed the power to shape your whole day to someone else? The Stoics saw this thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Today I will meet people who are selfish, ungrateful, envious." But he didn't let that thought break him. He used it like a shield, preparing his mind so he could step into the world with calm. And today, science confirms what they already lived. The brain is at its most flexible right after waking. The thoughts you choose in the morning are like software rewriting the entire operating system of your mind. So here's the question. Will you let emails, pressure, and chaos write your script? Or will you take the pen and write the first chapter of your day yourself? I know. Some mornings you wake with worry, with fatigue. I've been there too. There were days when just one work email made me feel defeated before I even left the bed. But I learned something. The morning is when you take back the oar of your life. The storms don't disappear, but when you hold the oar firmly, you decide where the boat goes. Try one small step. Instead of diving straight into your phone, give yourself 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. To listen inward. Place your hand on your chest and say out loud, "I decide the tone of my emotions today." It sounds simple, but it is a declaration of inner freedom. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist, the Holocaust survivor, once wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." If he could keep that freedom in hell on earth, then can't we in our ordinary lives do the same? Think of every affirmation as a key. Key 1, master your emotions. Key 2, guard your inner stillness. Key 3, invest your energy only in what you can truly control. Each morning you decide whether to put the key in the lock, to open the door into your day, or to let someone else slam it shut. The message today is clear. Morning is not just the start of a day. It is the start of how you will shape your entire life. You don't need something grand, just one small act tomorrow morning before you touch your phone. Touch your heart, breathe deep, and say, "Today, I choose how I will live." Write that down. Or leave it in the comments below as a promise to yourself. Don't let your morning slip away unconsciously. You deserve to live a day shaped by your own hand, not by the noise of the world. And if this video awakens something in you, hit subscribe. Because here, we don't chase fleeting motivation. We train discipline. We cultivate peace. We build a life of intention. You cannot control if today's sky brings rain or sun, but you can always control the fire inside. And it all begins tomorrow morning. Did you know? Just the first few minutes after you open your eyes can decide the shape of your entire day. It's true. One small choice to reach for your phone or to reach for your heart can be the line between a day of chaos and a day of calm. The question is, do you even notice you're making that choice? Most of the time, we don't. We wake up, we rush into email, we scroll the news, we dive into social media, and in those first fragile seconds, our minds are already programmed by the outside world. I know that feeling. I've been there. I've opened my eyes, read one message, and felt defeated before I even left the bed. The rest of the day, I wasn't really myself. I was just reacting. But then, I learned something. The human brain is most flexible right after waking. That's the golden moment. The thoughts you plant in that time are like seeds dropped into the richest soil. They grow, and they shape your entire day. The Stoics knew this thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "At dawn, remind yourself, today I will meet the selfish, the ungrateful, the envious, but I will not let them disturb my peace." He put on a suit of armor for the mind before stepping into the battlefield of life. The Greeks had a word for it, ataraxia, a deep inner stillness untouched by storms. But ask yourself, what armor did you put on this morning, or did you throw the doors of your mind wide open so anyone could walk in? A negative comment, a demanding email, a careless text, and just like that, your peace was gone. Instead, try this. Sit up, take a deep breath, place your hand on your chest, and say out loud, "Today, I choose stillness. Today, I keep my mind steady." This is not an empty mantra. It's a command you give your brain. Think of it as the strategy meeting before a battle, and you are the commander. Will you let the enemy sit at the table, or will you take the seat of power yourself? The message today is clear. Morning is the golden moment. Don't waste it. If you want a day of calm and clarity, begin in the first few minutes. Plant a thought worth growing. Put on the armor of peace. So tomorrow morning, before you touch the screen, touch your heart. Say it out loud, "I command this day. I will not be swept away by chaos. I choose peace." Write it down, or leave it right here in the comments, a promise to yourself. Don't let the outside world write your story for you. You deserve to live a day shaped by your own hand. Remember, you can't control the wind, but you can always take hold of the oar. And it all begins tomorrow morning. 15. Morning affirmations. Affirmation. I decide the emotional tone of my day. Have you ever noticed the moment you wake up who's really holding the remote control to your emotions? A text, an email, a sudden headline, and in just a few seconds, your peace is stolen. Do you realize you've just handed the keys of your inner world to someone else? But what if I told you that key has always been in your hands? The Stoics repeated one truth again and again. Circumstances don't define us. Our response does. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist, the survivor of Nazi concentration camps, wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. If he in the darkness of war could still hold on to that freedom, why do we, in ordinary life, let a traffic jam or a negative comment dictate our mood?" Epictetus, once a slave, said it clearly, "We suffer not from events, but from our judgment about them." Think about it. The same rain falls. One person curses it. Another sees it as a gift, a chance to pause to listen to the rhythm of water. The event is the same. The story in the mind is different. And so the feeling is different. I know this because I've lived it. There were mornings when one email was enough to make me irritable the entire day, until I realized I didn't have to live as a prisoner of circumstance. I could be the author of my own story. So I want you to try one simple act. Sit up, place your hand on your chest, breathe slowly, and say out loud, "I decide the emotional tone of my day." It may sound small, but it's not. It's a declaration, a commitment, a first step back to emotional sovereignty. Imagine if you did this every morning, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. Your brain would rewire itself. You would no longer be swept away by passing storms of emotion. You would build an inner fortress, one the outside world cannot easily breach. Remember this: emotions are guests. They may knock on the door, but you, the host, decide who enters and who must leave. The message today is clear. You hold the power to choose your emotions. Right from the morning, no person, no event can take away that freedom unless you hand it over. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, reach for your heart. Say it out loud. I decide the emotional tone of my day. Write it down, or leave it right here in the comments as a commitment to yourself. Try it for 1 day, then 2, then 3, and watch the difference unfold. You'll see. Life no longer pulls you along. You are walking, steady, intentional, and free. If this message resonates with you, hit subscribe, because this is only the beginning of our journey through 15 morning affirmations, a journey to stop living in reaction and start living as the author of your own life. Affirmation 2. Only I decide what enters my inner peace. Have you ever let a single comment ruin your entire day? A passing criticism, a random remark online, a cold glance from someone, just like a pebble dropped into still water, and your calm is shattered. Tell me, in that moment, did you hand the keys of your peace to someone else? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once wrote, "Your power lies in your mind, not in outside events." He understood one thing clearly: peace is not a gift. Peace must be protected. Picture your mind as a garden. If you leave the gate wide open, anyone can walk in. The one who brings flowers, the one who throws garbage. Soon the garden is overrun, but you can be the gatekeeper. You choose what enters. You choose what stays out. A harsh comment, a flood of bad news. They can only remain if you open the gate. The Stoics called this the art of mental boundaries, not to cut yourself off from the world, but to remind yourself, I cannot control the winds outside, but I can control the door to my own house. There's a tiny gap so small between stimulus and response, a space that lasts just seconds, but inside it lies all of your freedom. Most people react so quickly, they don't even know that space exists. An insult, they explode. A headline, they drown in fear. But if you pause just one breath, you realize you still have a choice. That space is the bridge to freedom, and you decide whether to cross it. So every morning, stand before the mirror and say, only I decide what enters my inner peace. Say it slowly, say it firmly. Let each word become a wall of protection. You don't need to erase emotions. You don't need to ignore the world. You only need to sort. Like a guard at the gate, you decide who enters the castle, and that castle is your peace within. The message today is clear. Peace doesn't come from a smooth world. Peace comes from guarding your inner world. Tomorrow morning, try one small step. Take a deep breath. Place your hand on your chest and whisper, I am the gatekeeper of my mind. I choose what stays and what must leave. Write it down, or leave it right here in the comments as your commitment. Don't give away the power over your peace. You deserve a clean garden. You deserve a fortress unshaken. If this feels important to you, hit subscribe, because this journey is only beginning. Together, we will keep building a strong mind, a steady heart, and a life of purpose. Peace does not come from the world. Peace comes from you. And it all begins tomorrow morning. Affirmation 3. I only put my energy into what I can control. Have you ever felt like you're pouring water into a bucket with holes? You worry about gas prices. You obsess over the stock market. You lose sleep wondering what other people think of you. And eventually, you're exhausted. Not because of what you did, but because you've been pouring your energy into a bottomless well. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "Some things are within our control, and some things are completely not." He divided life into two halves. One half we can control, the other half we cannot. But most of us, we live the opposite. We stress over the weather forecast instead of grabbing a raincoat. We obsess over someone else's opinion instead of adjusting our own attitude. We fear a future that hasn't even arrived and miss the actions we could take today. Picture 3 circles. At the very center, the inner circle, live the things you fully command: your attitude, your choices, your actions, your reactions. This is where you should spend 90% of your energy. The middle circle holds things you can influence but not control completely. How you guide your kids, how you work with your team. Here, you invest just enough. And then there's the outer circle. The weather, the global economy, the past you can't rewrite, the sudden emotions of someone else. Here, you should spend exactly 0%. But what do most of us do? We pour almost all of our strength into the outer circle. We get angry when it rains. We're hurt when others don't understand us. We let our hearts be dragged through battles no one can ever win. Do you see the irony? We neglect the circle we own completely and burn out in the circle we cannot touch. The Stoics chose differently. They focused on attitude, on integrity, on action, on response. They knew you cannot control the wind, but you can adjust the sails. So every morning, stand in front of the mirror and say, "Today, I only put my energy into what I can control." Say it slowly. Let each word sink in like a reminder carved into stone. Because mental energy is like currency. Spend it in the wrong place, and you'll go broke. But invest it in the right place, and it multiplies. The return is peace. The return is freedom. The return is a life not torn apart by chaos. The message today is simple. Energy is your most precious asset. Don't waste it on what you cannot change. Tomorrow morning, try this small step. Take out a piece of paper. Draw 3 circles, inner, middle, outer. Write down what's on your mind. Then ask yourself, which circle does this belong to? If it's in the inner circle, act. If it's in the middle, do just enough. If it's in the outer, let it go. And before you start your day, place your hand on your chest, look in the mirror and say, "I only put my energy into what I can control. I own my inner circle." Write it down, or leave it right here in the comments. Make it your real commitment. Because life is too short to fight battles you cannot win. Put your strength into the one place you always win: yourself. If this message resonates with you, hit subscribe. Because this is only one step in the journey of 15 morning affirmations. A journey to stop burning out in the storm and start living steady, calm, and free. Affirmation: I am not defined by what happens today. Have you ever let one rainy day make you forget an entire summer? One bad day, a project that fell apart, an email that said no, a conversation that left you feeling like a failure, and suddenly you feel small, worthless. But ask yourself, can one single day, one single moment, really define the whole of who you are? Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, knew this well. He was exiled. He was humiliated. In the end, he was sentenced to death by the very emperor he served. He lost status. He lost prestige. He lost opportunity. But he did not lose himself. He wrote, "Every new beginning comes from the end of something else." Seneca understood the true worth of a person does not rise and fall with the success or failure of a single day. We often live like a stock chart. When things go well, we rise. When we fail, we fall. But our essence is not a market trend. It is the core, steady, unshaken by a temporary result. The Stoics called this preference without dependence. You may desire achievement. You may strive for victory, but you are not chained to them. Success is a gift, but it is never the condition for your value. Think of a seed. Some days the cold keeps it from sprouting. Some days the storm knocks it down. But the life inside that seed never disappears. It waits, it endures, until the season turns and it rises again. You are the same. One day of failure does not erase your potential. One dark night does not extinguish your light. So tomorrow morning, stand before the mirror and say, "I am not defined by what happens today." Say it slowly. Say it firmly. So your mind remembers success and failure are only visitors. Your value is the master of the house. The message today is clear. You are worthy. Not because today went smoothly, but because you exist. You may win. You may lose. But your courage, your character, your essence are not defined by a single day. Try one small step. Write this sentence down, or leave it in the comments as your commitment. I am worthy, not because of results, but because of who I am. Read it again each night. So you remember one day even the worst of days cannot erase your wholeness, because our time is limited. Don't waste it tearing yourself down over a passing failure. Stand firm in your worth, like a lighthouse in the storm. If this message resonates with you, hit subscribe, because our journey continues, a journey to build a steady soul, a life of intention. And remember, one day cannot define you, but the way you choose to see each day will define your entire life. Affirmation 5. I live with awareness. I do not drift in unconsciousness. Have you ever ended a day and realized you lived it like a dream you can't quite remember? You opened your phone just to check one message. Then you scrolled and scrolled until you looked up 30 minutes were gone, your mind empty, your heart heavy. Have you ever asked yourself, why is it so easy to lose ourselves in the fog of unconsciousness? The Stoics believed true freedom begins with awareness, not with wealth, not with power, but with presence, being awake in the moments of your own life. Because when you live unconsciously, you are not living, you are only reacting. A headline drags your mood down. A careless comment sparks your anger. A meaningless habit steals hours you can never get back. But when you live with awareness, you begin to take the wheel. You see your thoughts as they pass by. You notice the spark of anger rising, and you choose to breathe instead of explode. You notice when you're procrastinating, and you choose to act instead of avoid. Awareness doesn't mean you become a saint. It simply means you are present. You see each step, each choice, each feeling as it happens. When you live like that, Life is no longer a fast-forwarded tape. You press play, and you actually live. Imagine your kitchen after a big dinner. Dishes scattered, glasses everywhere. If you clean it right away, the kitchen feels whole again. But if you ignore it day after day, it becomes a mess. Your mind works the same way. Awareness is the daily cleaning, the practice that keeps it clear. The unconscious person is like a boat with no rudder. Wherever the waves push, that's where they drift. But the conscious person holds the oar. No matter how rough the sea, they know where they are going. So tomorrow morning, stand before the mirror and say out loud, "Today, I walk with intention. I choose with clarity, and I am present in every moment." Say it slowly. Let every word be a light to guide you. The message today is clear. Awareness is the only way to truly live. Without it, you're just a passenger on a train driven by habit, emotion, and circumstance. Try one small step. Tomorrow, when you pick up your phone, pause for 5 seconds. Take a deep breath and ask, "Am I doing this with intention?" If yes, continue. If no, put it down. Write this affirmation down. Or leave it in the comments. I choose to live with awareness. Make it a promise to yourself, because our time is limited. Every minute lost to unconsciousness is a minute you will never get back. So walk awake. Each day, each hour, each moment. If this message speaks to you, hit subscribe. Because our journey isn't over. We will continue step by step through the morning affirmations. Each one small but powerful enough to change the course of your entire life. And remember, awareness is not a destination. It is a choice you can make. Tomorrow morning. Affirmation. I choose action, not just planning. Have you ever gone to bed only to realize you didn't do anything that truly mattered that day? You had a long list, but by nightfall, it was still just words on paper. How many times in life have we lived like that, preparing to live, but never really living? Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning, when you hesitate to rise from your bed, remember you were not born to lie there. You were born to act. He knew hesitation is just procrastination in disguise. We often confuse intentions with accomplishments. We think about exercising, but never step out the door. We promise to call a friend, but let the day slip by. We sketch a plan for a business, but never begin. Intentions are only seeds. If they're never planted with action, they dry up in the mind. The Stoics were clear, knowledge only becomes virtue when practiced. Knowing what is good isn't enough. You must live it. Understanding what is right isn't enough. You must do it. Psychologists call it action linkage. When you connect thought directly to behavior, you break the wall of delay. Instead of saying I should work out, you say I put on my shoes and walk right now. Instead of saying I need to write, you affirm I open my laptop and type 5 sentences. That small move is the spark that ignites the flow. Picture a river. It doesn't become mighty in a moment. It begins with a drop, then a trickle, then a stream that gathers power until it carves valleys and moves mountains. Your actions are the same. One small step, repeated again and again, will build a path no plan alone could ever create. So tomorrow morning, stand in front of the mirror and say out loud, "Today, I choose action, not just planning." Speak it with conviction. Remind yourself, time doesn't wait. Ideas don't change your life, only action does. The message today is simple. Action matters more than intention. You don't need to wait for inspiration. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You just need to begin. Try one small step. Right after this video, choose one thing from your list. Do it for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. And notice the difference. Write this affirmation down, or leave it in the comments. I choose action today. Make it your personal commitment, because our time is limited. Don't let life slip away inside unfinished plans. Stand up, do the work, and let your actions write your story. If this message speaks to you, hit subscribe, because this journey isn't over. We'll keep going through more affirmations, each one a small step, but together, strong enough to lead you toward a life that is intentional, powerful, and deeply meaningful. Affirmation 7. Discipline leads me, not emotion. Have you ever woken up with a clear plan, only to have your feelings drag you somewhere else? You planned to work out, but felt tired, so you delayed. You sat down to start your work, but laziness won. You promised yourself you'd eat clean, but one pastry erased your resolve. Have you ever felt like a prisoner of fleeting emotions? The Stoics understood this well. They knew emotions shift like the wind. When it blows in your favor, it pushes you forward. When it turns against you, it knocks you down. Cato the Younger, a Roman statesman, chose a different path. He trained his will through hardship. Even in the freezing Roman winters, he walked barefoot through the streets, not to punish himself, but to prove the will can rise above comfort, above fear. He wanted a mind that stood firm, stronger than passing feelings. Because motivation, it's just a breeze, here, today, gone, tomorrow. You can't build your life on something that fragile, but discipline endures. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Every time you do something hard when you don't feel like it, you're lifting weights for your willpower. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're laying another brick in the foundation. Successful people aren't fueled by constant inspiration. They're different because they act from values, not moods. They don't ask, "Do I feel like it?" They ask, "Is this important to me?" And then they do it. Picture a ship at sea. If you let emotions steer, the waves toss you wherever they want. But if you anchor yourself with discipline, you hold your course even through storms. The Stoics called this living by virtue, not because life is always pleasant, but because you remain steady, true to your values. So tomorrow morning, stand before the mirror and say, "Discipline leads me, not emotion." Say it loud, say it firm, say it clear. Remind yourself today you act from commitment, not from mood. The message today is simple. Emotions are guests. Discipline is the master. You can't choose to always feel inspired, but you can choose to be consistent. You can choose to build the muscle of willpower, one small act every day. Try this tomorrow. When you don't feel like doing something, working out, writing, making that tough call, pause and say, "Emotion doesn't decide. Discipline decides." Then do it. Even if it's just for 5 minutes. Write this affirmation down or leave it in the comments. Discipline leads me, not emotion. Make it your daily vow, because time is short. Don't waste it being tossed around by every passing feeling. Anchor yourself with discipline. Act from values, and let discipline lead you into the life you truly want to live. If this message resonates, hit subscribe, because our journey isn't done. We'll keep going through the rest of these affirmations, each one a brick to build a steady mind, a free spirit, and a life lived with purpose. I create solutions instead of only seeing problems. Have you ever felt stuck in that question? Why is this happening to me? An unexpected setback, a plan falling apart, a barrier that feels impossible to cross. And there you stand, staring only at the problem. The more you stare, the bigger it gets, until your confidence quietly slips away. But what if in that very moment of adversity you chose to see the solution? The Stoics believed life is full of obstacles, but every obstacle is also an invitation. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle itself becomes the path." Picture a stone blocking your road. You can sit and complain, or you can climb it and use it as a step. The same obstacle. Two very different lives decided by attitude. The world is never short on challenges. The economy shifts. Deadlines pile up. A negative email lands just before your meeting. An unexpected expense throws off your budget. But it's in these tough places that creativity is born. Humanity discovered fire in the freezing dark, created the compass in endless oceans, invented electricity in the depths of night. No challenge, no innovation. And think about your own life. Have you noticed when pushed against the wall, you often find strength you never knew you had? The single mother working 2 jobs, still raising her child with love. The soldier returning from war, transforming pain into inspiration for others. That's not just survival. That's creating solutions out of difficulty itself. Our minds work the same way. If we only stare at the problem, we turn ourselves into victims. But if we ask, within this obstacle, what opportunity is hiding? We immediately shift from passive to active, from buried to building. The problem stops being a grave and becomes a stepping stone. So tomorrow morning, stand in front of the mirror and say, "Today, I am a creator. I will find opportunities in obstacles." Say it loud. Say it clear. Remind yourself every situation has 2 sides. One door closes, another opens. The message today is simple. The world is full of challenges, but every challenge carries the seed of innovation. Your attitude decides everything. You can see only the wall and complain, or you can see the platform and rise. Try this small step. Tomorrow, when something goes wrong, traffic, a sharp email, a delayed plan, pause, breathe, and ask, where is the opportunity here? What solution can I create? Write this affirmation down, or leave it in the comments. I find opportunity in every obstacle. Turn it into a vow, because time is short. Don't waste it in complaint. Turn it into fuel for creation. Live like a creator, the one who turns adversity into strength and problems into opportunities. If this message speaks to you, hit subscribe, because the journey continues, with more affirmations to come. Each one a step that can change how you live, how you see, and how you face the world. Affirmation. Adversity is the fuel for my strength. Do you remember the moment of hardship that changed you forever? A crisis, a failure, a loss. At the time you thought it broke you, but looking back, that wound shaped the person you are today. Could it be that adversity itself is the fuel for our strength? The Stoics never avoided hardship. They treated it as a gym for the soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle itself becomes the path." Picture a wall in your way. For some, it's the end. For others, it's a springboard to rise even higher. Obstacles don't carry meaning on their own. It's the way we see them that defines them. James Stockdale. A U.S. Navy pilot was held captive for 7 years, tortured, isolated, and yet he survived. He endured by leaning on Stoic philosophy. He believed adversity was not there to destroy him, but to forge him. He once said, "Never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end with the discipline to confront the brutal facts of your reality." That balance, faith and discipline, is what kept him alive and what brought him home stronger. You see, willpower doesn't grow in comfort. Character is not forged in safety. Steel is made only in fire. And people, we are shaped the same way. Look back at your own life. Wasn't it failure that taught you humility? Wasn't it loss that taught you to cherish more deeply? Wasn't it the darkest days that lit the flame of resilience inside you? So tomorrow morning, stand in front of the mirror and say, "Adversity is the fuel for my strength." Say it with conviction. Say it to remind yourself challenges are not enemies. They are teachers. Today's message is simple. Growth only comes through challenge. You cannot avoid adversity, but you can choose how to walk through it. You can turn wounds into scars that carry meaning. You can turn obstacles into stepping stones. So tomorrow, when hardship shows up, don't rush to ask, "Why me?" Instead, ask, "What is this teaching me? How can I grow stronger through this?" Write it down or leave it in the comments. Adversity is the fuel for my strength. Make it your vow, because time is short. Don't let difficulty only leave bitterness. Turn it into a platform to stand taller, reach farther, and grow stronger. If this message speaks to you, hit subscribe, because this journey isn't over. We will keep walking together through more affirmations, building a steady mind, a free spirit, and a life of true purpose. Affirmation 10. My path is mine alone. Have you ever scrolled through social media and seen someone land a promotion, buy a new house, or fly off on another vacation, and instantly you feel small? You feel like your own journey doesn't matter. Isn't it strange how our happiness can be stolen with just one swipe? Epictetus once said, "A man avoids many troubles if he learns to focus on himself, not on others." Comparison is the thief of joy. It blinds us to how far we've come. It turns quiet effort into nothing just because someone else's spotlight shines brighter. Picture this. You're running on a track. Each person has their own lane, their own starting line, their own pace. But instead of looking straight ahead, you keep turning your head to check on others, and then you stumble. Not because they were faster, but because you forgot to watch your own steps. The Stoics understood this. They believed true success isn't having more than others. It's living true to your own values. A wealthy man may still feel empty. A humble man, living with integrity, courage, and kindness, that's the real victor. Remember, every life is like a fingerprint. No two are the same. Some begin with privilege, some with hardship. Some fight silent battles no one ever sees. Comparing yourself to them is like comparing an oak tree to a rose. They're not the same, but both are beautiful, each in their own way. Your path is yours alone. Every scar, every failure, every smile, every small victory. They all belong to your story, a story no one else can write. So don't let someone else's approval define your success. Don't let social media or society dictate your worth. True success is this living aligned with your values, your rhythm, your direction. So tomorrow morning, stand tall in front of the mirror and say out loud, "My path is mine alone." I don't need to compare. I only need to live true to myself. Say it slowly. Let every word plant itself like a marker on your road. Today's message is clear. Comparison steals joy. Focus on your own steps and you reclaim freedom. You don't need to be faster than them, or richer than them, or more famous than them. You just need to be you and move forward, one step at a time. So tomorrow, when comparison creeps in, pause and ask yourself, am I better than the me I was yesterday? If yes, you've already won. Write it down or leave it in the comments. My path is mine alone. Make it your vow. Because time is short. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Spend it walking the journey only you can write. And if this message resonates with you, hit subscribe. Because this journey isn't over. We'll keep walking together through more affirmations, laying bricks for a steady mind, a free heart, and a life of true purpose. Affirmation 11. I learn from every experience, no matter how small. Have you ever ended a day, lying in bed, scrolling your phone, and suddenly thought, wait, did I actually learn anything today? Some days feel heavy. Some days feel bland, forgettable. But if you pause for just a moment, you'll notice something. Even in the smallest moments, life is still whispering lessons. The question is, are you listening? The Stoics believed this: no day is meaningless. Every experience, good or bad, is raw material for growth. Success is not the final destination. It's only refinement. And failure, it's not the end. It's raw material, waiting to be forged into wisdom. Think back. How many times have you stumbled? Maybe you lost an opportunity. Maybe you made a wrong decision. But in that very moment, you learned to be more patient, more cautious, more resilient. Every scar leaves behind a lesson. Picture yourself walking through a forest. Along the path, rocks, branches, mud. You trip, you fall, you get back up. And the next time, you look down more carefully. You notice more clearly. That is learning through experience. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, "Whatever happens to you has been ordained for your growth. Nothing is meaningless. Everything can be a teacher if you choose to learn." Look at everyday life. A stressful workday teaches you about boundaries. An argument at home teaches you how to listen. Even waiting patiently in line at the grocery store teaches you calm. If you stay open, every single experience, no matter how small, carries value. So instead of saying, "Today was terrible," ask, "What did today teach me?" Instead of thinking I failed, say, "I just gathered new material for growth." Each morning, remind yourself, every experience is an opportunity to grow. I choose to learn, not to judge. Say it out loud. Say it clearly. Begin your day as a student of life. Today's message is simple. There are no meaningless days. Only days where you ignore the lesson. Your mind is like a notebook. Each day, life writes down a line. Will you read it or will you skip it? Try this one small practice. Tonight before bed, write down one sentence. What did I learn today? It might be a big lesson or just a small observation, but if you do this long enough, you'll realize your entire life has become a great classroom. So write it down or leave it right here in the comments. I learn from every experience, no matter how small. Turn it into your daily commitment. Because time is short. Don't let a day slip by meaningless. Turn every joy, every sorrow, every stumble into another step forward, on your path of growth. And if this message speaks to you, hit subscribe, because this journey is far from over. We'll continue together through more affirmations, building a steady mind, a grateful heart, and a life of purpose. Affirmation 12. Gratitude shapes my perspective. Have you ever woken up and immediately started listing all the things you don't have? Not enough money, not enough success, not enough luck. And then the whole day drifts by under the shadow of scarcity. But what if I told you the secret to feeling abundant isn't about having more? It's about being grateful for what's already here. Would you believe it? Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Life is not short. We just waste much of it. Life itself is already rich. The problem isn't lack. The problem is forgetting to appreciate. Gratitude is a lens. It changes the way you see the world. It turns a simple meal into fullness. It turns a small house into shelter. It turns the people around you into priceless gifts." The Stoics even practiced something that sounds harsh: negative visualization. They imagined losing the very things they loved: their health, their family, even their own lives. It may sound dark, but it's an art. Because when you remember that one day it could all be gone, today becomes brighter. Today becomes more sacred. Do you see it? It's only when you grasp the fragility of life that you truly cherish each moment of it. Modern science confirms this too. Gratitude isn't just spiritual. It rewires the brain. It boosts optimism. It lowers anxiety. It strengthens resilience. A grateful mind is a healthy mind. Think of life as a giant painting. If you only stare at the blank spaces, you'll think it's unfinished, incomplete. But if you pause and look at what's already painted, you'll see the beauty emerging. Gratitude is that shift in vision, seeing the light instead of being consumed by the shadows. So each morning, stand before the mirror. Place your hand on your chest and say slowly and clearly, "Gratitude shapes my perspective. I see what is right, not just what is wrong. I see what is full, not just what is missing." Today's message is simple. Gratitude is the key. It turns life into a gift instead of a burden. You cannot always control what you lose, but you can always choose to honor what you still have. Try one small step. Tonight before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for. It could be a meal, a smile, or simply the breath in your lungs. Don't let a single day end without at least one note of gratitude. Write it down or leave it here in the comments. Gratitude shapes my perspective. Turn it into a daily promise. Because time is short. Don't waste it complaining about what's missing. Spend it savoring, cherishing, loving what's already here. And if this message resonates with you, hit subscribe, because this journey isn't over. We will keep going through more affirmations, building a steady mind, a peaceful heart, and a life that feels truly abundant. Affirmation 13. I end today stronger than I began. Have you ever laid down at night? The lights are off, but your mind whispers, "Today, I didn't really accomplish anything." A busy day, a chaotic day, and yet you feel like you're stuck in place. Have you ever wondered, if every single day you grew even just a little, what your life would look like a year from now? The Stoics never sought perfection in a single day. They sought progress, just a little. One small step. But done long enough, it becomes unshakable strength. Seneca had a nightly ritual. He would ask himself 3 questions. Did I make progress today? Did I resist a temptation? Did I treat someone better than before? It wasn't self-condemnation. It was training the mind, turning mistakes into lessons, turning failures into fuel for growth. Think of each day as a brick. If you place it with care, small as it may be over time, you build a strong wall. But if you throw it aside, the wall of your future remains unfinished. Or picture a river. It doesn't become a waterfall in an instant. It begins as a drop, a small stream, then gathers momentum until it carves mountains. Progress works the same way, tiny, but relentless. Here's a number worth holding on to. If you improve by just 1% each day in 1 year, you'll be 37 times stronger. That's not theory. That's the power of compounding. So think back to a recent failure. Maybe it was an email you wish you wrote better, a conversation you fumbled, an opportunity you let slip away. It might feel heavy. But instead of asking, "Why did I fail?" ask, "What did this teach me? Did it make me more patient, more resilient, more courageous?" If yes, then even failure is progress. Progress isn't about being flawless. Progress is about honesty. Looking at your weakness and quietly saying, "Tomorrow, I'll do a little better." So tonight, before you close your eyes, say out loud, "I end today stronger than I began." Today's message is clear. Focus on progress, not perfection. You don't need to become great overnight. You just need to become a little better every day. Try one small step. When your head hits the pillow tonight, ask yourself, in what way am I stronger than I was this morning? Maybe it was patience in a tough conversation. Maybe it was courage to speak the hard truth. Or maybe it was simply standing back up after a stumble. Write it down or leave it in the comments as your promise. I end today stronger than I began. Time is short. Don't let a day slip away meaningless. Make each day a brick. And over time, you'll build a stronger, wiser, more resilient version of yourself. And if this message speaks to you, hit subscribe. Because this journey isn't over. We'll keep moving forward through more affirmations with small but steady steps so you can live a life of strength, purpose, and unshakable clarity. Affirmation 14. I connect with people through authenticity, not pretense. Have you ever sat in a crowded room, talking, laughing, exchanging words, yet deep inside, you still felt empty alone? Have you ever walked away from a conversation and wondered, did I truly connect? Or was I just playing a role? We live in a time of endless connection, and yet, we are lonelier than ever. The Stoics believed this: we were not born to live apart. We exist to collaborate, to lift each other up, to serve one another. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "We were made for each other, to teach or to learn, to give or to receive." But modern life has buried that truth. We wear masks, a mask at work, a mask on social media, sometimes even a mask at home. And slowly, we lose ourselves in the roles we play. Here's the truth. Personal success is never enough without human connection. You can be wealthy, you can be famous, you can achieve everything, but without authenticity, it's all hollow. Because people don't crave perfection, they crave truth. They want to be seen, to be heard, to be touched from the heart. Think back. When was the last time you had a real conversation? No screen in between, no fake nodding, just presence. Do you remember how it felt lighter, stronger, and above all, truly connected? Authenticity doesn't mean spilling every secret. It means living true to your values, your feelings, your kindness. Trust is like a bridge. It takes years to build, but one act of dishonesty can bring it crashing down. So each morning, stand in front of the mirror and say out loud, "I choose to be fully present in my relationships. I build with trust and kindness." Say it slow. Say it true. Let the words sink into your mind. Today's message is simple. Authenticity is the glue that holds life together. You don't need hundreds of shallow connections. You only need a few real ones, and they will be enough to carry you through life. Try one small step. Tomorrow, when you talk to someone, put your phone down. Look them in the eyes. Listen instead of waiting for your turn to speak. And quietly ask yourself, am I truly present with this person? Write it down or leave it in the comments as your promise. I choose authenticity. Because time is short. Don't waste it in fake relationships. Spend it planting seeds of trust, kindness, and real connection. And if this message speaks to you, hit subscribe. Because this journey isn't over. We'll keep going through more affirmations, each one a brick that builds a stronger mind, a wider heart, and a life of true meaning. Affirmation 15. I spread positive influence beyond myself. Have you ever asked yourself, when the day comes that you leave this world, what will remain? Not the money, not the fame, but the way you touched another person's life. Will someone live better simply because you existed? The Stoics believed this a personal journey only gains true depth when it extends beyond the self. Seneca once wrote, "We do not live well for ourselves alone. We live to be a light for our community." Yes, self-discipline, inner peace, gratitude. These are essential, but if the journey stops there, it closes in on itself. True growth begins when your influence spreads outward. Think back to a time when someone believed in you, a kind word at the right moment, a small act of unexpected generosity, a hug when you felt alone. One simple gesture was enough to change a day, sometimes enough to change a life. That is the power of influence. It doesn't need a grand speech. It doesn't require a monumental achievement. It begins with sincerity. It begins with kindness. It begins with choosing to share your values. The Stoics called this our natural duty. We are born to collaborate, to lift each other up, to inspire one another. So each morning ask yourself, how can I make the world around me better today? Maybe by showing patience with someone difficult. Maybe by encouraging a discouraged coworker, or simply by offering a genuine smile to the barista handing you coffee. Picture life as a still lake. You are the pebble. Your influence is the ripple spreading outward. You may never know how far those ripples reach, but you can be sure of this, they don't end with you. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. It only doubles the light. So each morning, remind yourself, I do not only build myself. I help make the world around me better. Say it loud. Say it true. Because your journey is not only for you. It's for every soul touched by your light. Today's message is clear. The value of a life is not only in who you become, but in what you leave behind. Money will fade. Fame will vanish. But seeds of kindness, acts of influence live on. So try one small step. Tomorrow when you walk out your door, choose to spread one positive thing. A thank you, a helping hand, a moment of listening. And then ask yourself, how far will this ripple go? Write it down or leave it in the comments as your commitment. I spread positive influence beyond myself. Because time is short. Don't let it circle only around you. Let it become a legacy of sincerity, kindness, and light. And if this message resonates with you, hit subscribe. Because this is not just a personal journey. This is our journey, a community planting seeds of goodness together, so that tomorrow shines brighter than today. Have you ever wondered, where will your legacy be written? Not in the grand moments, not in the big victories, but in the quietest mornings, in the way you open your eyes, in the way you choose to face a new day. Could it be that these small mornings are silently shaping an entire life? We've just walked through 15 affirmations, but remember, these aren't just inspiring words. They are a framework for inner training, a compass to steady you when the world outside feels chaotic. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. They didn't seek strength in forced optimism or in empty promises. They found it in calm, in clarity, in the courage to face reality without turning away. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, each morning today, I will meet selfish, ungrateful, envious people, not to despair, but to prepare, so his mind would not be caught off guard, so he could hold on to peace even in the storm. That's why the affirmations you've practiced are not a quick fix. They are a process of reshaping the mind. You don't need to get everything right away. The goal is not perfection. The goal is persistence. Like drops of water wearing through stone, like bricks laid one by one into a wall. Each affirmation is a brick for the fortress inside you. Modern science agrees. The brain rewires itself through repeated habits. Every morning when you speak these affirmations out loud, you're rewriting your neural pathways. You're teaching yourself new reflexes to respond with calm instead of panic, with clarity instead of confusion, with courage instead of fear. And one day you'll notice you're no longer carried away by every outside wave. You're no longer living as a victim of circumstance. You've become the architect of your own life. Today's final message is clear. The legacy of a life begins in the morning. The way you start the day shapes the way you live your whole life. No one expects you to be perfect, but you can be consistent. You can repeat. You can let these affirmations etch themselves into your character, into your very soul. So begin with one, just one. Say it tomorrow morning, then repeat. Add another, step by step, and share the journey with a friend, a coworker, a family member. Because inner light, when shared, doesn't divide, it multiplies. Write it down or leave it in the comments as your commitment. I begin my day with intention, not reaction. Let it become a promise you keep with yourself. Time is short. Don't let it slip away in unconscious living. Use it to build a life of purpose, a mind that is steady, a legacy you can be proud of. And if this journey has touched you, hit subscribe, because this is only the beginning. We will continue together to train, to grow, and to share, so that we don't just live, but we leave behind something beautiful in this world.